This is our 7th lesson in Chapter 0. This is all about multiplying fractions and mixed numbers. So our only vocab word for this lesson is the word improper fraction. We talked about these a little bit in the last lesson. An improper fraction is a fraction in which the numerator is greater than the denominator. So our examples here are 15/8 and 4/3. Numerator is bigger than the denominator. Our non-examples are 12/15 because the numerator is smaller than the denominator. We call that a proper fraction. Our other non-example is 4 1/2. This is a non-example because it's a mixed number. It's got a whole number piece and a proper fraction attached. If we wanted to, we could do a little bit of math and turn this into an improper fraction, and we'll see something like that in just a minute. Our notes for today: we do not need a common denominator to multiply. This makes students really, really happy. This makes me happy. It makes problems faster. It makes them a little bit easier. So a lot of times students like multiplying much better than adding or subtracting. Next note, we must simplify diagonally if possible. Okay, we are going to really focus on this idea in 7th grade. If we can simplify before we multiply, that's going to make our problem easier in the long run. So definitely be on the lookout for this. Our next note, we must change mixed numbers to improper fractions before we can multiply. In order to multiply two fractions, both of them have to be in true fraction form. That means numerator and denominator only. No whole numbers, no mixed numbers. So we will see how to handle that on a practice problem in just a minute. Okay, so really quick review here. How do we change a mixed number into an improper fraction? It's going to be an important skill for us because remember, when we need to multiply fractions, they both need to be in true fraction form. So we've got our mixed number here, 8 3/4, and in order to change this to a mixed number, we're going to multiply the denominator times the whole number, and then we're going to add the numerator. Okay, so 4 times 8 is 32 plus 3 is 35. That becomes my numerator of my improper fraction. And my denominator is the exact same denominator I started with, 35/4. And just to be completely clear here, these two numbers mean the exact same thing. 8 3/4 is equivalent to 35/4. We just wanted to write this number in a different way so that it has the qualities of just being a fraction, not a mixed number. All right, let's do an example. This example is not in your notes, so you have two choices. Just sit back, relax, and pay attention, or you can follow along on a piece of scratch paper. But don't be looking in your notes for this problem. It's not there. All right, our problem is 15 3/4 times 2/3. You need to remember to change them both to fraction form, right? So 4 times 15 is 60, plus 3 is 63. Bring down the 4. 2/3 is already in fraction form, so that makes us really happy. Nothing really to do there. And now we want to try to simplify. So simplifying means that we take a look at the diagonal here. Okay, we've got a 4 and we've got a 2. If they have a GCF greater than 1, then we want to use it and divide both numbers by it. Okay, so 4 and 2 both have factors of 2. They can both be divided by 2. So I'm going to divide a 2 out of both of them. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And now we are simplified on the diagonal. Okay, now we look at our other diagonal, 63 and 3. I know that 63 is divisible by 3 because 6 plus 3 is 9, and 9 is divisible by 3. So I know that the GCF of those two numbers is 3. So I'm going to divide a 3 out of each of them. 63 divided by 3 is 21. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Now that we are simplified, we can just go ahead and multiply straight across. Super easy. 21 times 1 is 21. 2 times 1 is 2. And we can see that we now have an improper fraction answer. Well, we do not want that, right? We want to change our improper fraction to a mixed number. And we do that by taking the 21, dropping it into the house, and doing a quick division problem. 2 goes into 2 one time. 2 times 1 is 2. We can subtract and get a 0. Bring down the 1. 2 goes into 1 0 times. Okay, 0 times 2 is 0. Subtract, and we get a remainder of 1. Do you remember what to do with that remainder? It becomes our numerator, right? Because it says that 2 goes into 21 10 whole times with a remainder of 1 out of 2, so 1/2. So our final answer here is 10 1/2. Okay, feel free to watch that again. We have another example. This one is from your notes. So this time I want you to be paying attention and working along with me. We've got two numbers here, 4 2/8, and we want to multiply that by the whole number 6. Both of these numbers have to be changed into fraction form before we can multiply. Okay, real fast. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 2 is 34. Denominator stays the same. Now, to turn the whole number 6 into a fraction, that's very easy. We just put it over 1. That is 6 wholes. Okay. Now we want to simplify. 34 and 1. Sorry, that's my dog. 34 and 1, their GCF is 1. So if we divide by 1, it doesn't change anything. We can leave them alone. 6 and 8, their GCF is 2. So we can divide them both by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And now we can multiply straight across. 34 times 3 is 102. 4 times 1 is 4. Again, we have an improper fraction. You're going to get a lot of improper fractions for answers when we are multiplying, and that's okay. You know how to handle that. We just drop the numerator into the house and do some quick division. 4 goes into 1 0 times, so I'm going to put a 0 there. 4 goes into 10 twice. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract and get a remainder of 2. But we're not finished because we have a number to bring down. 4 goes into 22 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. And when we subtract, we get a remainder of 2. So that remainder of 2 comes up here, goes into our numerator. 4 is our denominator. We can simplify that fraction. Divide by 2. And our final answer, I'm going to write down here, is 25 and 1/2. All right. Go do some practice problems. Make sure you understand this concept of multiplying fractions and mixed numbers, and ask questions if you have any.